clearing out the noise. Let's find out how to do it. So, I was speaking to a client the other day. I think it was last week, and this is a story that's shared with permission, of course. We were talking about his consistency in terms of business, life, relationships, all sorts of things. And he was saying just like, man, I can't find consistency in the things that I want to do. And especially the fact that he had this list of all these different items that he needed to finish off. Like he wanted to do like a practice for figuring out what he wants in life. He wanted to do this thing, that thing, etc., etc., etc. And there was this big list of items that he was looking at, and it was in his journal. And he would go, all right, I'm gonna do all of this stuff this week, and then none of it gets accomplished. And then he goes, all right, cool, I fucked up, I'm gonna push it over to next week, and then the week after, and then the week after. And it happens again and again and again and again. And each time that he did it, he continuously, at least from what I saw, kind of like punished himself in a way, going like, I fucked up, this didn't go right. And I used to do a lot of the same thing as well. Like I would have all these ideas of like, all right, I want to get this, meditation done, and I want to get this thing done, and I want to get this other thing done, and just like all these little tasks that just accumulate over time, and then they just never get done, and they get pushed off day after day, week after week, and all that did for me was make me reinforce to myself that, oh, I keep fucking up, I keep failing at these tasks, and I need to do it. And I just keep reminding myself day after day after day, and it didn't do me any good, right? And so I was listening to my client, and he was telling me about this situation, and I told him about my experiences with doing the same thing, of having these little tasks that you set up for yourself, that I set up for myself, and just keep pushing it back, and then feeling like a failure after every time that I did not accomplish the thing, right? And it's kind of like death by 1,000 cuts. It does not help. So what I had to do in my situation was ask myself, all right, why am I not doing this? And this is like advice that I also gave to him. I asked myself, why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing these tasks week after week after week after week? I know that I'm a person that's capable of doing a lot of things, and he's also a person that's capable of getting a lot of fucking things done. And even though he can be quite productive, he was still feeling like a failure at the end of the day, because he still had this long fucking list of items that just weren't complete, that were pushed back from like 2 months ago, right? And in myself, what I did is that I actually sat down and asked myself, all right, why am I not doing these tasks? There's other tasks that I can do that come from a place of flow within me that I'm happy to just go ahead and do, right? And I had to ask myself, all right, are these tasks actually that valuable in moving me forward towards my goals, right? Like doing the morning meditation, or doing doing that, like. And the kind of conclusion that I came to was that at some subconscious level, I guess, at some level of my thinking, of my mind, is that I inherently knew that these tasks were not pushing me forward towards the goals that I actually wanted. They were wasting my time. Now, this is different from like procrastination. It's like when you actually have a task that will move you forward and you are not doing it, like, yeah, you should analyze, like, will it actually move you one step forward? And if it does, you should do it. But if it's like a series of tasks where you've kind of set yourself up to go like, all right, I'm going to do the meditation, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to say my mantras or whatever, like, at some level, your subconscious mind may actually realize this is not going to move me forward. Therefore, I'm going to deprioritize this. This is going to put this out of the way. But then what I did is that I came back and looked at my list and I was like, oh, I fucked up again. So now every day I'm making myself feel shit over useless noise that does not matter. So, what was also the case for this particular client of mine was that he likes to go to like men's circles, and in these circles you can set up like commitments with the other men there, and you can say, all right, guys, I'm making a commitment to do this particular thing, to do this particular practice, and if not, there'll be some sort of consequence that I choose for myself. Da, 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 da. So there's like an agreement, right? The thing is that because he kind of like tied himself up to these agreements, to these practices that may not necessarily actually move him like a step forward, right? He kind of bound himself up and felt like he was just spinning his wheels. So in tying himself up, we took a look at like the particular task that he wanted to do, and I asked him, is this actually going to move you one step forward? And he basically said, well, not really. And so what I asked him is that, okay, of all the tasks that you need to complete today, we just really simplified it to cut through the noise. This is how we did it. I just asked him, all right, if you could only do one thing today, one thing, what would be that number one thing that you would have to do? Like, fucking off all of the agreements, fucking off all the things, like the one thing that would actually move you along, right? You not having to satisfy other people, not having to satisfy anybody else, fuck everybody else. What is the one thing that you can do today that will move you one step closer towards your goal? And he said something like, writing up some emails or something like that for his particular clients. Like, okay, cool. That's your number one priority. Then I asked him, if you were to complete two things only for today, what would be the second priority? He said, making some calls for the day, spending like 30 minutes doing some calls. All right, cool, great. And then third thing would be spending time with his wife. So I said, all right, you've got 3 tasks to do today, and if you time it right, you can actually do it within the next 2 hours, all those 3 tasks. So just do them and get them out of the way, and you'll have the whole entire evening to do any other miscellaneous tasks that you need to do. We did end up having a conversation more about the specific goals and the dream that he had, and how he could move forward towards that. And now he's quite happy and moving in that direction. And so he replaced his second priority thing with working on some goals and steps towards that and putting that out there. But what happened is that, yeah, he cut out all the noise, all the bullshit, and he realized in that moment, holy shit, there's so much fucking noise and bullshit that I don't need anymore in my life, that doesn't actually serve me to get to where I want to go. And so he actually cut out quite a lot of things in that moment, and he realized, fuck, I need to focus on actually pursuing the dream. And so, and just like a little addendum to this, the tasks that he inherently kind of knew were not pushing him along to the next step, in thinking about them, he like I could see on the call that it was wild. You could see on his face, like his energy just went down completely. He just didn't want to do these things. Like he just inherently knew, like on a subconscious level, this is not moving him forward. This is kind of like an energy spend that's not going to get that return. But when we spoke about the dream, future that he wanted to work towards, his energy completely changed upwards to where he was almost like bouncing in his chair. And I said, okay, cool. That's the thing you need to start like looking at and analyzing. And I think I'll do another video in future about how to figure out what that dream is for you, and how to actually figure it out for yourself. But his energy completely changed, and so I said, all right, cool. Take a look at that, and what are some of the first steps that you can do to take towards that? What's the minimal step that you can take towards actually implementing that today? And he said, all right, I'm gonna create like a presentation thing. Well, he already had one, but it's just like setting it up so that he can get people coming into his container and all that for his dream way of working. I'm like, great, fantastic. So he really cut out the noise by focusing on that which is actually generating energy for him, not killing him by death by 1,000 cuts, because he tied himself up to agreements and promises that were actually unnecessary and that didn't actually move him forward. Now, he's going to take care of those agreements and everything in his own way, with those men that he set it up with. Now realizing his new set of priorities, and he's now refocused his energy towards that which is actually going to move him forward. So, in summary, if you're feeling like you're kind of beating yourself up about, oh fuck, I didn't do the thing for the past 3 months or whatever, and at some level within you, if you really like check in with yourself and ask yourself deeply, does this actually move me one step closer to my goal? Like actually, not like a mental masturbation kind of thing of like, oh, if I just say these mantras every day, blah blah blah. Like, no, like if it's an actual step, an action step that will take you closer to that particular goal, whether it's making those calls or making the emails or going for the run or doing the thing or going to the gym. Like if it's an actual thing that will get you closer to that goal, then do it, right? But if it's not, and you're genuine with yourself, then there's no harm and no foul in just fucking it off. Your mind already knows it, and you don't need to beat yourself up over it, over some dumb shit that won't actually move you forward. It will only continuously drain your energy to the point where he was just feeling like, fuck, I feel drained every fucking day. But he was kind of doing it to himself in a way. So, as I did to myself as well. And because it's like, we're both ambitious men. We both want to get a lot of stuff accomplished. But if you are ambitious as well, and you want to get stuff accomplished, you have to ask yourself and put it through that filter. Is it actually going to get you to the next step, yes or no? And if it's not, fuck it off. Delegate it, give it to somebody else, or just cut it out entirely, right? And then move on and focus on those tasks that you actually need. And you can do this by asking yourself, if there's only one thing that you can do in the day, what would that be? Priority 1. If there's only 2 things that you can do in this day today, that's priority 2. If there's only 3 things, that's priority 3. Focus on those 3 things, and then afterwards, when you finish those 3 things, that's when you can actually do the rest of your things after that. And then just continue on. What's the 4th thing? What's the 5th thing? Blah, 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 blah. Right? But focus on those, number one, your top priority thing, that should be the biggest, most important thing, right? That is the one that is going to get you the most bang for your buck, the most impact if you actually complete it. It's like your biggest, like most important task, right? Number two is like a slightly smaller task that with a slightly smaller impact. And number three is slightly smaller again. So even if you don't complete those, it's not so bad. You've completed the number one. So use this kind of system to boil it all down, all the priorities and tasks that you have to do, and to cut out the noise. Focus on what's that one thing, then the second, then the third. Don't immediately go for like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, blah, 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 blah. That's already too much and overwhelming. Focus on 3 things for the day, with accomplishing number 1 as the biggest priority. 2 and 3 can wait. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and hope this was helpful to help you to cut out the noise in your life and to feel like that you're actually progressing and moving forward. And when you complete these tasks day by day by day, you will notice the opposite of the death by 1,000 cuts effect. You'll notice, fuck yeah, I got a big win today. I got another win. I got another win. And it's not even the afternoon yet. And then you repeat it the next day. Another win, another win. And over time, in aggregate, it's going to be this upward spiral that you're going to go on, because every day you're actually winning and moving towards your goals, and you're going to see that over time. So implement this way of cutting out the noise, and you'll see a lot of wins in your life. All right, thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you next time.